I'd like to welcome everyone to this episode of the System Podcast. This is a wonderful episode, and it's the type which I wish you guys will find a time to listen to. Now, the title of this episode is Medical School Evolving Through AI, Gen Z, and the Power of Learning, Unlearning, and Relearning. I'd like to let you know that your professor might be wrong about the concept of Gen Z. Okay. As you all know, my name is Yahuza Haruna. I'm a 500 level MBBS student here in Bayero University, Kano. And our guest today is Emmanuel Aboa. He's a medical lab student and an AI enthusiast, a sport enthusiast, and much more. Now, the roadmap or the overview of the topic I'll be talking about is a very important topic to every student, as the whole of education is evolving in different way, but we are kind of focusing to the medical education. Medical education is facing a drastic change. Even medical practice is facing a drastic change. So here we'll be talking about the importance of you trying to know those core things which cannot be changed, relearn other things that you have to add, and unlearn things that are redundant, that are not too useful. And we'll also have to clarify some misconception about the concept of Gen Z. You have to be proud to be a Gen Z, because Gen Z are great people. Gen Z are not just about social media. Gen Z are not people that are just there to waste their time. Gen Z bring greatness, wise things, nice things. So I'd like to welcome our guest to this program. Welcome, sir.
Well, thank you very much for that formal introduction. Really glad to be here, especially.
Thank you very much. Now, the first thing we have for you, sir, is we'll be kind of talking about the role of AI and the internet in the medical education, but I'd like you to focus on, it's kind of wide if talking about the role of AI in medical education and the internet. So the main focus I would like you to focus on is, I would like you to discuss the growing use of AI in diagnostics, treatment planning, and research. And also, I would like you to highlight real-world examples, and I'll also like you to kind of tell us some of the AI as a learning tools, like some of the tools that they use in AI to learn.
The topic of AI, as you said, is a very vast thing. There's so much more application in the modern world today. If you think about how the AI revolution started.
Yeah.
If you think about how the AI revolution started in the past, AI was something that, if you take two individuals, for example, and you see one individual has the ability to use AI and individual B doesn't have the ability to use AI, we will say that individual A has more advantage than individual B.
Okay.
So compared to now, or let me say in the future, there's going to be a time where it's not even going to be a matter of choice. It's not even going to be a matter of advantage. You get? The AI issue is going to be something that every medical practitioner is going to be obligated to. So in the field of diagnosis, there are a few major applications that we have in AI. For example, you see the IBM Watson. It's a powerful AI company. IBM Watson Health, to be specific, is a very great AI tool that plays a very great role in medical diagnosis, simply because of its extreme great rate of analyzing such.
I guess they could be able to accumulate a lot of data, which no single doctor can be able to do.
Exactly. With
that huge amount of data. The concept of medicine is all about having the data from the past medical history, history of presenting complaint, to be able to come with logical diagnostic. So these guys are able to carry a huge ton of data. They could be able to make more better conclusion and more better suggestion diagnostic than the top doctor on earth.
That's the thing.
I guess this thing, it's a great thing.
It's a very, very, very great development if you consider how medical diagnosis is being made now, and you compare it with someone that is good with such tool like the IBM Watson, and you see how much potential they have. Another tool is the surgical robots that we see
Yeah,
today.
it's something I wanted to even bring
Yeah.
up. AI assisted surgery. Yeah.
Yeah.
You are the professional. Keep
Yeah,
telling
yeah.
us. Yeah.
In the AI surgical robot, you see that these robots, they are being trained by medical professionals themselves in a kind of way that they are able to carry out real life surgery
Yeah.
in a kind of great way that most medical professionals do.
And I wanted to
And they
also
do
say
it with such
something.
accuracy too.
Yeah,
Because
the
of
level of accuracy is high. I wanted to even I did a podcast, summarizing the podcast of what's the name of this guy that used to wear black suits, this a very popular Lex Friedman,
yeah,
on his podcast with Elon Musk on Neuralink. The concept of Neuralink, it was a robot that put the chip.
you can
It was
see
the precision. It was able to escape all those blood vessels, and it did the right thing. So this is another very great example of
Yes.
AI robots, sir. Thank you very much.
The final one I wanted to add is the role of AI in radiology. You see that AI based algorithm can also help
Yeah.
in fields like CT scanning and performing of X-ray, and they do it with such great accuracy that a single professional might miss.
Yeah.
And that's another great.
Since the floor is still open, for example, I guess I still have to say, even in medical lab practice, there are so many things that are now AI based. AI is kind of doing a lot in medical laboratory science.
Okay.
Yeah. So the next thing would also like you to talk about, which you've not talked about, I guess, is AI as a learning tool. There are many AI based learning tools now that are coming up. AI can be able to tell you the best way to study, based on your weakness, focus on your weakness. So can you shed more light on these AI based learning tools?
When we talk about AI learning tool, I think one of the most common one we know as of now is the ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Because it's the most easiest and the most commonly used. Simply because it was constructed in such a way that you can have a real life conversation with an AI model that has been trained to gather so much accumulated data and research, and just give you anything you want with the right prompt. So with the right prompt,
yeah. Okay. I guess you are trying to talk about the right prompt, right?
Yeah.
We've been using the Chat GPT. I must confess, all of us are using the Chat GPT concept to really check what we want. Especially even the medical based scenario that are being given to us. AI Chat GPT is still helping us.
Yeah, the Chat GPT, the use of the potential Chat GPT has is actually really vast. The ChatGPT has evolved, and so we are in what version of ChatGPT now? We are in the version.
I guess if I'm not mistaken, they said it's version 4.0.
Yeah,
there's the premium type, and it's kind of expensive, so we settle with the cheap version.
Yeah, not everybody will. But I think even the 4.0 safe is there's a free version to that aspect. Even
you get to do some free prompt, and there's limit.
Yeah, and there's a limited time.
And it's good for the business because that's what we call freemium. Where you get the premium feature, just a little of it to have the feel to make you feel like I have to pay.
Then you chase for the premium, right?
Yes.
So with the Chat GPT 4.0, and you see the potential that thing has compared to 3.5. Actually, the 4.0 is much more updated. It has ability to comprehend much more database compared to 3.5.
So how is the satisfaction of students, especially medical students, using it?
Yeah. For medical students now, you see that as long as you input the right prompt to the ChatGPT 4, within a couple of seconds, it will give you what you want.
It's just like a magic.
Just like a magic.
Sometimes I just feel amazed. I have to confess. I'll just copy some scenario, put it, and it will kind of like put everything, give me the ideas, the differential diagnosis, all the whole thing I need.
Yeah, and there's another downside. It makes me actually wonder at times, because this actually means that there will be so much information that at this age,
That's the problem
compared to the previous generation. I mean, just like Jordan Peterson was said, there is so much information available at this current stage compared to the previous generation. There's just so much. It's like it's overwhelming sometimes, because as a wise man once said, too much of everything is bad.
And it's bad.
When you have a situation where there is so much information based, that you can get everything at your fingertips, if you don't really know how to utilize it very well,
it will be a problem.
It will be a problem.
And there's also something I wanted to add. They said sometimes it's not about the destination, it's the journey that matters.
Yeah.
They said the journey and the process of trying to get the answer is more important than the answer sometimes. So, all this AI tool is cutting the whole journey of a thing for us. But it's good to some extent.
Yeah, but it's actually that I was just talking about the bad aspect of it, right? Because it's actually as much as we like to talk about, as much as we are being enthusiastic about ChatGPT and AI, it's also great as well to point out the downside of it, so that people won't get it mixed up. So
thank you very much.
Yeah, as I was saying, there are some ChatGPT prompts you can input. Like, for example, you see somebody want to make a skincare product.
Yeah.
Like a skincare product as well, and you input a ChatGPT prompt like, you should make an organic based skincare product for you. You should give you the raw formula, the raw product,
the formula for the product,
the formula for the
raw
products.
materials.
Yeah, the raw materials. Yeah. And you should omit the bad product from inside. You see, within a couple of seconds, it will bring out such information. And so some other examples, there are numerous of them out there, but it's too vast. So let's just
it's kind of vast. And I feel like now we should be talking about some of the misconceptions about the concept of Gen Z. But before we dwell into the misconception, let's try to define what Gen Z is, because many people, I could say, like the higher class students, they are not really Gen Z, but they think they are Gen Z. Even the teachers are referring to them as Gen Z, but they are not really Gen Z.
You mean the higher class students?
Yeah, like kind of people in level 6 or so, because Gen Z is kind of like about the age limit.
Yeah.
It's not really about according to the internet, they say Gen Z are people that are born between 1996 to 2010.
Okay.
So you see the age limit. And I also like to add more the Gen X, who are the baby boomers. Those are some of our profs will be there. The Gen Y, which is the millennials.
Yeah.
So let's start by defining some of these little concepts.
Gen Z. Before we talk about Gen Z, I think it's crucial we talk about we brush through what Gen X is, the Gen Y, and the Gen Z, so that people will have the kind of broad overview picture of what the whole concept is. So you say that
you said?
No, you are saying that Gen Z, we are people that are born
96 to 2010, aka tech service.
Okay, tech service.
That's their own, like the other name for them. While Gen X are the baby boomers, while Gen Y are the millennials.
It actually makes sense. Yeah, it actually makes sense. But we, as human beings, we have a knack for always classifying things. So I think it actually helps that way. Gen Z generation for me is I think some important thing that actually define Gen Z generation is, just as you mentioned, the tech savviness.
Yes.
These are the age that these are people that we are actually born into. They were actually born into the technology.
Yeah.
They didn't meet technology. They came to meet technology. Like, they are literally in the world of technology, compared to millennials that a few of them were not actually born in a realm of technology. It was later on that they start witnessing the growth of technology like AI,
Yeah.
AI and stuff. So that's one of the things. Now, that's just a brief overview of what the Gen Z is. These people, they don't, because of this tech savviness, because of they being born into a generation where you already have the internet, it's as if their brain, they have this, how do I put it, they have this knack for technology, like it comes natural for them.
It's natural.
Yeah, they don't really have to
what
struggle.
you wake up to meet, you want to exploit.
Yeah, and it will come much easier for you. Like for example, my mom was wondering the other day, she was struggling with something on her Android phone, and my junior brother, about 12 or 13 years old also, he just picked through the phone, and within a few minutes, what mom has been trying to solve for like about a week ago, it didn't even take him up to how many minutes or so to crack it. And to her, it was as if he has one kind of superpower. So that is the kind of thing, because it's the Gen Z now, it's the Gen Z mentality and stuff. So Gen X will be wondering how it comes to easy. But
I think Gen X are the most backward people, like when it comes to tech. They are the baby boomers. I've forgotten the limit of the where they born them, but let's quickly check it on the internet. Can you quickly check the Gen X which age limit? So the Gen X, most of our professors, I guess they fall in the Gen X. Those are the baby boomers. I think they call them the baby boomers because at that time they were the ones that faced the highest form of depression, like global depression have been there, highest like unemployment or so. There's no people that face something like that, like more than them. Kind of the giving birth of babies became high in that time, so they call them the baby boomers. So which age?
The Generation X, they are typically includes people born between 1965 and 1980.
So you see,
so it's very.
I'm correct by saying our professors fall there.
Yeah.
So why the younger graduates and some of the students in school are in the millennial generation?
Yes.
So you can see how the thing.
Yeah, goes. This actually means that if the Gen X were to be alive now, most of them would be.
No, there are some that are still alive.
Yeah, they will be. No, I'm just saying, like if they were to be alive, most of them would be around the age of if from the data, if they were actually born between 1965 and 1980, I think around the age of 44 to 59 years old and upward. Like,
you see,
it actually makes sense.
You see,
it actually makes sense. They are actually like our mom or our grandparents, the Gen X.
So okay, I guess that's enough of like introduction towards this concept. So the next thing which we would like to I like this is with an echo. I like you to clarify to the world that Gen Z is not all about social media. It's beyond social media. Gen Z is not all about crypto mining. It's not all about Telegram, crypto mining, all those kind of things. It's beyond that. So the floor is yours.
Okay. The Gen X, as we pointed out, that's like our parents.
The old generation,
old man generation. Put it there.
Yeah,
I think that is a very good thing to describe them. This old man generation tend to have this misconception that Gen Z, the tech savvy, the tech savvies are too glued to their screen, and so they don't really make productive use of their time, and they might. Okay, so as I was saying, they have this misconception that the Gen X has this misconception that the Gen Z generation are too glued to their phone. So because of this extreme tech savviness, they won't be able to pay attention to study, and they won't be able to contribute something great that will be of beneficial use to the world and the society at large. But this is a highly misconception, because if you actually see this Gen Z generation actually has a passion to a passion to turn things around. They
They are
have this,
creative,
they are very
bring
creative.
new
They have this
things,
innovative
mind and
mindset.
spirit.
Yeah, the spirit to change things. She get
Yeah.
like to change things. They
Okay. Yeah. You are giving great points. Yeah.
because if you look at the social media, for example, if I want to use TikTok, for example, the Gen X, they might think that TikTok is really about entertainment. That the only thing the Gen Z knows how to do with Facebook and TikTok and Instagram is to watch entertainment and just while away their time. Why this is just one way of looking at the whole thing. Another way of looking at it is we can actually see content creators that are actually using the internet to do better things in the medical world. Like take for example in Nigeria, there's this guy, I don't know if you know him, Proco Doctor.
Yeah.
You can see
Doctor.
the kind of thing he and some other people and the likes they are using
Yeah.
social media to do, sharing
And they are-
about health tips
and
they're
they are
creating this.
they are also building like kind of like a lasting store and archive of knowledge for medical
knowledge, right?
education. So
Yeah.
it's a great one. It's a great
The
one.
same thing with YouTube.
believe-
When we
I-
see
I
so
be-
many young YouTubers now. They are
Yeah.
emerging. There's one guy that I just spoke with recently. One of my friends' roommates that I visited. The guy came up with this innovative knowledge about starting up a YouTube channel that will be dedicated to anatomy. You know, anatomy is one of the broadest
Stuff.
field for medical students, aspiring medical students. So he came up with this concept that he'll be using pidgin English
You see,
to make
it
anatomy
accessible and
so that it's
understandable.
more accessible and stuff. You see, this is the kind of innovative
That's
thinking
what we are talking about.
that most Gen Z generation
So,
has that I
in-
wanted to point out. There are
Actually,
many of them.
I
there
just
are so many
hope
likes.
the older generation will just kind of like
Yes.
take away some of this misconception. So here now, I would like us to talk about the importance of learning, unlearning and relearning. Okay, under this heading, the evolution of medical knowledge. You know, medical knowledge have evolved through different like generations from the older generations and the concept of learning have been changing.
Yeah.
So now it's a call for us to kind of like try to unlearn outdated things. So let's kind of like try to think about some things that we have to really unlearn. We have to really they are trying to become redundant. Now let's look like the physiology lab down there in old campus. You see, there are some old practical techniques that they don't do.
There's no more functioning.
It's useless. So we have to forget about this and just teach our students the new things.
No, it's actually great that you came up with this topic of learning and unlearning, because it's also one of the things that actually show you, that actually differentiate the Gen X from the Gen Z, because the Gen Z, another great characteristic is their ability to be adaptable. To
and
move in with the fast-paced world.
Concept of the relearning. So trying to just move on with the trend. This is what is happening. We cannot leave ourselves behind.
Exactly. This is a fast-paced world. Things are changing, and the medical field is a very, very, very evolving one. And over the years, you see practices that keep on changing. The practices that you used to for the diagnosis of a certain year, within the next few years, you see that these kind of things they've gone outdated. And so you need to be constantly updating your well of knowledge, and that's one of the things that Gen Z can actually thrive in more than the Gen X. So, another problem is
and the next thing now we like to kind of like dwell into is medical students have to understand this, why they have to embrace AI and technology. The under this heading, let's try to talk about the concept of this tech literacy is non-negotiable. The word tech literacy is non-negotiable. Like, it's just trying to say that like you can't do without it. So now, why? Like, I would like you to convince the medical students why tech literacy is non-negotiable, is something that you have to know, especially with the changing of trends.
Yeah, we like I made mention earlier. This is a fast-paced world, and things are constantly changing, and one needs to always be updated with the latest trend and the latest going, and especially in the medical field, you see that every day by day, you see constant diagnoses are being made, new discoveries, new diseases are being diagnosed and stuff. So this actually calls for an awareness that we need to be updated with whatever we are doing. And what better way than AI, a technology which is able to gather so many database and interpret them, use them for future diagnosis of in the medical field and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think another reason why this concept is non-negotiable is with the way the world is turning, everything is becoming AI. Like AI is diagnosing at the speed of light.
Yeah, that's
You will be left behind. Nobody will use you. Nobody will use you for anything. So I guess this have been a fruitful discussion. Is a very good discussion. And in conclusion, I would like to say that AI is just like something which is a second nature to us, and we can do with AI. Medical education have evolved with AI and is still evolving with AI, and there are much things to go, and AI will not take away your job. Instead, AI will give you a better way to do your job.
yes.
So I would like you to kind of give us a kind of a word to keep, a word or two, just like a summary.
In short, it's quite important for the Gen X, the Generation X, to see the need for being to upgrade in their tech literacy,
Yeah.
and because the world is fast changing.
Yeah.
Currently, we are saying that the people who have AI skills, who are much versed with the AI skills, will be at a more technical advantage than one who doesn't have that technical skill. But the time is going to come that it's going to be an ethical obligation.
Yes.
That if you don't know how to use AI, you'll be left out.
Yes.
And your job will be taken away from you.
Yes.
And that's why it calls for relearning and unlearning of some of the held past beliefs you had. Especially for the Gen X and the millennials, because Gen Z
to learn,
the Gen Z are already in the AI era. Gen Z are already in the AI era, but the Gen X are not used to the AI era, and it's one of the reasons why I feel that they are a little bit reluctant with its use. But I just hope that in the future to come, and now they will learn to embrace this tech sector. I see the potential that the Gen Z really has in the medical field.
Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here to give us a wealth of knowledge here. We are very grateful. So I'd like the audience to kind of like listen to this, take this advice, and also comment and subscribe if you can't. Bye for now until the next one.